Hi there. Welcome to today's lesson. This one is a fast track English sample lesson for the intermediate course. My name's Adam from ESOL Online, and I'm going to show you all about our course and then go on to give you a free sample lesson for you to try it for yourself. So to begin with, here is a quick course overview. The course itself is called Fast Track English. The level is intermediate. You probably need to make sure that that is the right level for you. If you go on the ESOL Online website, we do have a free level test, so you can check your level to make sure. But if you know that this is the level for you, then welcome aboard. Here we are. This one will help you to complete Entry 3, ESOL Skills for Life Entry 3. For Trinity or LanguageCert or any of the exam boards. Okay, how fast? It's fast track English. How fast is fast track? Well, if you study 30 minutes a day and you do that for 4 lessons a week, then the course can be completed in 10 weeks. You can do 10 weeks. Obviously, if you do more, then you're going to complete it quicker. But I think that that is a sensible amount of time for you to be studying each week, and that will allow you to complete the course in 10 weeks. You may also want to add in some tutorials. You may want to do some extra study, but that is the standard amount of time that we recommend. Which, if you compare it to doing a class where you're attending courses in a college, it would probably take you a year at the very least to complete the intermediate level. So this is why it's fast track. You're going to be doing 10 units. So it's 1 unit a week. And each unit has got a different topic, all of which are topics which are relevant to the Skills for Life course. So all of them should be things that will be useful for your everyday life. It's not just studying an academic course. It's the English that you need in your everyday life. And these are the 10 unit topics that we are covering for intermediate. So the first one, everyday communication. Second one, we're doing jobs and work. Then we look at government and law, British values, identity and history, travel and transport, holidays and celebrations. We look at shopping and consumer rights. Then we look at social media, and then we finish with community and social issues. So you can see these are all very relevant topics for everyday life, for living and working in the UK, or probably in any English-speaking country, but specifically these aimed at living in the UK. So there are 4 lessons in each unit. If you remember, we said that 4 lessons a week, 1 unit a week. So there are 4 lessons in each unit. Let's have a look at a sample unit. So I've just taken one at random. This is unit 2, which is all about jobs and work. And these are the 4 different lessons that you will cover if you do this unit. So the first lesson, the first 30-minute lesson, will be choosing a job or workplace. The next lesson is all about applying for a job. Then you'll be doing dealing with problems at work. And then the last lesson is job interviews and workplace etiquette. So that's just an example of a typical unit in this course. So just to recap, it's 30 minutes a day. It's our recommended minimum amount of time to study, 4 lessons a week. So you can do any day of the week that you like, and you will complete the course in 10 weeks. And with that, let's get cracking. Let's give you your free sample lesson. The one that I've chosen, which is a bonus lesson, this doesn't feature in the course. This is an additional topic. And I'm covering how to study English when you work long hours. So hopefully a useful practical course, as well as being a sample of how the different lessons work. So each fast track English lesson will include all of the following. We start with a warm-up. Then we go into some vocabulary, which will be the kind of vocab that you will be using for that day's topic. Using that vocabulary, we then create a reading task, which will allow you to practice your reading and to answer some questions. There's then a grammar task. Every lesson includes some grammar, which we'll be using grammar in the context of the topic that we are teaching. There's then a listening task. I'll read out a story, a short story to you, and then you listen to that one and answer some questions on it. Then we do a recap. We just check that you've understood the learning from the lesson. And then I'll give you a writing task to take away with you, which will be allowing you to use the English that you have acquired from that lesson. So the format is very similar. I mean, we vary the activities, but we do cover all of the key skills in every lesson. And without that, let's get started with the warm-up. So there's 6 pictures. These are all English practice situations. There's the 6 captions for each picture. You need to match the caption to the correct picture. So through the lessons, I'll ask you to pause the video, take your time, take as much time as you like, and then when you're ready to start the video up again, and then we can check the answers together. So that's exactly what I'll ask you to do. Pause the video now, have a look at the question, and then start it up when you're ready. Okay, the first picture, the one in the top left, the man who's writing in a book. Small notebook for new vocabulary. This is a very useful tip that I give to all my students. Keep a notebook, not just tapping things onto your phone, but actually writing stuff down. Keep a notebook. Keep it with you all the time. Every time you encounter new English, put it in your notebook. Build your vocabulary. It's a great way to do that. Next picture. Short 10-minute break at work. So if you've got a busy work schedule, you're going to have a break in your working day. Make sure you use it well. Try to find colleagues who have got good English so that you can practice a bit of English speaking with them. The next picture is a coffee shop where you can study before a shift. So maybe arrive early for work or maybe even after work. Head to the local coffee shop, either with colleagues if you can, or even if you go on your own. It's always a great way for you to do a little bit of listening practice, listening to the people speaking English around you. Next picture, crowded bus on the way to work. This is a good chance for you to do a bit of extra English practice if you're commuting, traveling to and from work. Then there's so many different ways that you can practice English, whether it's listening to a podcast, whether it's doing an activity on your phone, might be jotting stuff in your notebook, any of those things, always a great opportunity. The next one is language learning apps. There's lots of those that you can use on your phone. Always a great way for you to practice English. Get your mind thinking about English as often as you can. And the last one is noise cancelling headphones. So not just regular headphones, but sometimes if you go online, Amazon or somewhere like this, to get the special headphones that will cancel out background noise. So it will really allow you to concentrate on your English study. So for the warm-up, a few just simple tips and ideas to get us thinking about the subject for today's lesson. Okay, so here is the kind of vocabulary that we're going to be using through the lesson. On the left, you've got a list of words. On the right is a set of definitions. You need to match up the correct word to the correct definition. As always, pause the video, take your time. When you're ready, start it up, and we'll check the answers. If you were sharp-eyed, you might have just seen the first answer there, but let's have a look. Okay, first word, A, is a routine. A routine is your normal daily habits. The things you do every day is your routine. Next one, practice, to repeat something, to learn it. This is an interesting word, practice, because in English we have the different spelling of practice. It ends in an SE or a CE. If it's a verb, like SE, like this one. If it's a noun, it'll be CE. Improve is to get better at something. Schedule, very similar to routine, but not quite. A schedule, a plan of times for activities. So a schedule, routine of the things you do during your day. Your schedule will contain more factual information, such as the times, might be the people that are involved, etc. So a schedule is slightly more formal than a routine. Tired is the adjective when you're feeling that you need rest. And progress when you move forward or develop. So we say that you make progress or that you progress. It can be a noun or it can be a verb. So some examples of the kind of vocabulary that we're going to be using. Each lesson we continue with a grammar task. So this one is going to be using have to for obligations. Things that you have to do. Things that are necessary, required, or things that you cannot avoid doing. And we would be using present simple. And in this case, the positive, like this, if it's using I, you, or we, then it's they have to plus the base verb, as in I have to work, base verb. The infinitive, we sometimes call that, long hours. They have to wear is the verb, a uniform. If it's he, she, or it, instead of have to, we're going to be using has to. Same structure. She has to wake up early. He has to travel by train. In the negative, it will be don't or doesn't have to. And it's the same thing with I, you, we, and they, it's don't. And with he, she, and it, it's doesn't. So we don't have to study for 2 hours every day. He doesn't have to stay late today. Okay. So the explanation is over for you on the left. On the right, we have some questions for you to practice. This is the way that we set out the grammar each time. So it says complete the sentences with, and it gives you the options we've just looked at, has to, doesn't have to, or don't have to. 5 questions. Pause the video. When you're ready and you've answered them, start it up and we'll check it together. Okay, question 1. It says, I something study late if I am too tired. I don't have to study late if I'm too tired. It's probably better to use the negative. You're not going to want to study when you're tired. And from the grammar point of view, have to, don't have to, because it's I, first person singular. Number 2, this is third person singular. He, something wake up early for work every day. Is it an obligation? Yes, he has to wake up early for work every day. Number 3, the plural now. It's third person plural. They, something use English apps to revise. They don't have to use English apps to revise. Well, there's other options. You can do lots of different things to revise your English. You don't have to use apps, but they are a good option. Number 4, she something practice for hours, just a little every day. So it sounds like it's going to be in the negative. Yep, she doesn't have to practice for hours, just a little every day. And the last one, it's the last one that's left. We have to take our homework to class. Okay, so using have to for obligations. Moving on, each lesson we do a reading task. Today's topic is studying English with a busy job. So I'm going to give you a text. There it is, which is all about this subject. Take your time reading it. I'm going to give you a set of questions. You can either pause the video now or wait for the next screen where I give you the questions, which is there. Pause it. When you're ready, we'll check the answers together. Okay. First question, it says, why do some people find it difficult to study English? Top of the text, many people want to study, but they work long hours and feel too tired to learn after work. The whole topic today. 2, what can you do on your bus or train journey? It says you can use the time on your bus or train journey to listen to English podcasts or to read short articles. Question 3. How many words do some people learn in the morning? It says some people learn 5 new words every morning. This is a good idea, just to have a regular routine that every day you learn new words. But don't just do random words. If you have a look in on the Daily ESOL, there's 1-minute English lessons that I offer there, and they were focusing on very specific vocabulary that is relevant each day. Get into a routine, micro learning, new things every day, 5 new words every day, maybe 5 verbs, maybe 5 adjectives, whichever you want. Number 4, what is the most important thing to make? It says the most important thing to make is a simple routine. Remember, we had this in the vocabulary. A routine, the things that you do each day. So your plan of what to do each day. Get into a regular routine. It makes your study much more a normal part of your day. And how much daily study can help you improve? It suggests you don't have to study for a long time. Even 10 minutes a day can help you improve your skills. If you're very busy, then 10 minutes a day. Why not? Get into a habit. Obviously, the more time that you study each day, the better. And what online course is mentioned in the reading? Of course, it's Fast Track English from ESOL Online. It's this one. Why not? Okay. Moving on. I'm going to give you a listening task. So each lesson, I will read out a story or a text, and on the screen are some questions for you to listen out for. I will read the text twice. See if you can answer the questions as I'm going along, and then when I've finished, we will check the answers together. So this one is all about Maria's study plan. It says, Maria works in a restaurant and she often finishes late at night. She wants to improve her English, but she doesn't have much free time. So she made a simple plan. Every morning she listens to a 10-minute English podcast while she gets ready for work. When she walks to the bus stop, she practices new words on her phone. During her lunch break, she watches a short English video about cooking because she likes learning vocabulary for her job. In the evening, she writes 3 sentences in English about her day. Maria doesn't study for long, but she studies a little every day. After 1 month, she feels more confident and can understand more English at work. A colleague tells her about Fast Track English, a course for busy workers, and she is thinking about joining because it offers flexible online lessons with teacher support. Okay, I'll read it again. Maria works in a restaurant and she often finishes late at night. She wants to improve her English, but she doesn't have much free time. So she made a simple plan. Every morning she listens to a 10-minute English podcast while she gets ready for work. When she walks to the bus stop, she practices new words on her phone. During her lunch break, she watches a short English video about cooking because she likes learning vocabulary for her job. In the evening, she writes 3 sentences in English about her day. Maria doesn't study for long, but she studies a little every day. After 1 month, she feels more confident and can understand more English at work. Her colleague tells her about Fast Track English, a course for busy workers, and she is thinking about joining because it offers flexible online lessons with teacher support. Okay, so how did you do? Why is it difficult for Maria to study English? Because she finishes work late and she has little free time. What does she do in the morning? She listens to a 10-minute English podcast. What does she watch during her lunch break? A short English video about cooking. How many sentences does she write in the evening? It says she writes 3 sentences. And what course is she thinking about joining? Fast Track English. Well done, Maria. I hope you do. And a quick recap. So each lesson we will round off with a recap just to check your learning, see what you can remember from the lesson. Question 1, it says, what is one good way to study English when you work long hours? What do you think? And it's B. Set a routine to study a small amount each evening. Question 2. When do we use have to? This is from the grammar. And the answer is A. Talk about things that are necessary or required. Remember, we said obligation. An obligation is something that you have to do. Number 3, what might a busy worker look for in an English course? No teachers, so no pressure to study. That would be a disaster. Self-study doesn't work. Flexible study time with steady progress. A free app, so 0 commitment required. No, it's going to be B. Flexible study time with steady progress. That's what you need. And finally, here's a writing task for you to take away. This one is about your own study routine. So I would like you to write 6 to 8 sentences about your own study routine. You're going to include the stuff we've talked about in the lesson today. So make sure you include when you study, where you study, what you do to practice. Include one thing that you have to do and one thing that you don't have to do. So you're bringing in a bit of the grammar that we looked at. And make sure you put your writing somewhere that you can keep, because if you have a tutorial, then you'll be able to share it on screen with your teacher, who can check the writing work and give you feedback. And speaking of tutorials, if you remember at the beginning, I was explaining about each unit has got 4 lessons. So it's taken a week on average for you to complete, 5 days in the week. So why not do a tutorial on the 5th day? This is a chance for you to practice your speaking in real time with a real teacher, to get your written work marked and checked, and you can ask any questions about the topic. So it's kind of a way of you completing your study on each unit. It's not included in the cost of when you purchase the Fast Track English unit or course. The tutorials are an additional one, but it's not too expensive. And if you have a look on the ESOL online website, you can choose the time in the week when you want to have those tutorials, book a slot, and it's a great way of completing and checking your learning. And that's it. So thanks for taking part in the lesson. I hope it was useful. I hope it gives you a nice overview of what we're doing in these lessons. As you can see, we're covering all the main key skills, and it does work. Lots of people have done this course and they've done well and they progress. You can do it if you're already studying a group course. Maybe it's a way of fast tracking and speeding up your learning. Or if you're not, and this is the only studying you're doing, it's complete. It covers all the skills. You don't really need anything more. You can study this. So have a look on the website. It's right there, esol-online.com. That's where you go for more information and to book the courses. But that's it for today. Hope you've enjoyed the lesson. Hope I see you again soon. Bye for now.